Jonathan, absolutely brilliant to welcome you here today to Football Fun Factory HQ for your onboarding day. We're delighted that you're coming on board with us as a head coach. What I want to know to start with is, where does your passion for football come from?
I flirted with football a little bit when I was younger, played football for school, for Cubs. I started off as a goalkeeper, and then when I joined the army I was playing for my squadron and regiment and stuff like that. But it wasn't really that gave me a love for the game. It was when I became a grassroots coach and looking at my own kids' faces when they were elated when I said, yeah, your daddy will coach you, and just the excitement that they had that drove my passion, ignited that fire in wanting to coach football to kids, just to see that excitement and that enjoyment on their faces, which has fed me on through coaching 3 grassroots teams now, under 7s, under 9s and under 11s, which are all 4 of my boys that are in football, because I've got an older boy who's not, and now into the Football Fun Factory, just with the ethos and way that feeds into my 4 kids, and what I want them to get from football is just exactly what this programme is all about.
That's absolutely brilliant. And in terms of sort of going in, taking your first child sort of grassroots team, was it something that you wanted to do? Because I know in my experience I sort of got pushed into it to a certain extent because they needed help, or was it something that you always thought, I want to do this, I want to coach my children, I want to set up a team and see them play football?
Well, weirdly, I didn't take my first son that got into football to football. His mum did.
Right.
And then the man who ran that club said, would you mind if I put him in a team, because he's quite tall for his age, he's fast, he can hit the ball really well. So I was worried about the character a little bit, his character a little bit, rather than his physical ability. So I was a bit reluctant, and he said, tell your husband not to bother so much, it'll be okay, don't worry, I'll be there, I'll look after him, etc. And he seemed like a good coach, so I said, okay, let's do that then. And the reason I got into the coaching aspect was, it wasn't through him, and it wasn't through his slightly younger brother that joined the same club. It was for the twins, it was for my younger ones that are now under 7s. When they were 4, this guy had a football academy, and when he was away from the business, the little kids couldn't train.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, if I do my coaching badge, at least the little academy can go on and my twins can play, because it was their faces that really got that ignition in me to start with. Once you start that journey of becoming the coach and then using that to get those kids playing and getting those smiles from the face, it's infectious, isn't it? Yeah. You just want to do more and more and more. And then, you know, there's the aspects of the grassroots where it's a bit more competitive, and you feel as though sometimes you might be getting close to the boundary of upsetting a child with the release the ball and do this and then when you look at this aspect of the Football Fun Factory, it's completely different, and you can just imagine those faces with big beaming smiles and the parents loving it all the time. And for me, that's what coaching's all about, and why I want to continue on this journey.
That's absolutely brilliant. And seeing your sort of face lights up when you talk about coaching, you can see that huge passion that you've obviously got for it. What are some of the best experiences that you've had coaching in grassroots football, in the vast experience that you have had?
It's a difficult one, that, because I would always go back to my twins' faces when I first said, I'll coach your team, because I was already coaching 2 other teams. I had enough on my plate, but they couldn't get from the Tiger Cubs who were into a team. So in the end, I bit the bullet and I said, Daddy will do it for you. And the faces, the looks on their faces. Joshua, who's in the under 9s, he's played at a place called CV, Penwortham CV, which is Lancs Central, where all the under 7s and all the under 8s play. He joined his team in December 21. And in the first season, they came 4th in the Cup out of 34 teams, when they'd only just formed a few months before, which was quite good. But they then went on into the under 8s to lifting the trophy at CV as their final hurrah, because they became under 9s and they're away from there now. So 2 years there, and they were lucky enough to win that trophy. So obviously being part of that and coaching them, and your son lifting a big trophy like that was really nice.
No, of course, and such sort of precious memories, which is something that the Football Fun Factory is all about, is trying to give children and their parents memories that will last them a lifetime within the game of football. And where, with the Football Fun Factory, where was it that you sort of first heard about us, first saw us?
Well, it would be in August this year. I was literally just thumbing through Facebook, seeing the reels, and then I saw you stood on one, and I didn't know it was you. Obviously, I know who Luke Chadwick is. I'm a United supporter, but I didn't know it was you looking at you. So I pressed play, and I thought, what's that? What's this football thing all about? Let me watch it. And of course, you set off with it's Luke Chadwick, and I thought, no, give on. So I watched it, and that was what captivated me with Football Fun Factory, because it was all about the fun. And in fairness, the way you delivered it was really infectious, and that was a joy to watch. So I thought I'll watch a bit more. I'll go on the website. I'll have a look into it. I then went looking at the feedback from some of the people who've got kids in these sessions and some of the feedback they've given, which was all 5-star and fantastic. And I thought, well, it actually is what it says on the tin. It really is a great, unique experience for kids to get into football. And for me, if you can get some of the ones into it that would normally never be able to do it, or they just think it's something too far away from them, but this programme, because of the inflatables, gives them access, and it's a real level where people with decent skill level and no skill level can all compete and mix together. It's just a great forum. So I just thought, for that reason, that was what I wanted to explore. So I then filled out the email to have you send back a link, and we had a meeting, and here we are.
Absolutely brilliant. And I know, obviously, getting to know you, a massive driver for you is giving children the opportunity just to play and enjoy football. You've obviously done incredible work in grassroots coaching, but at times in grassroots football there's not enough space, for example, for young kids that want to enjoy the game to do it. But I know that you're so passionate about giving every child that you can the opportunity to play football.
I just think that's absolutely critical, and that's why we do it for coaching, isn't it? You start off with the love of it for your own child, your own children, but then when you see other people's children, and you see some of them with the skill levels where you kind of know that they're never going to probably be the best possible footballer, but still they want to play. And then you see some of these teams letting them go, even in grassroots, which is just really unforgivable, to be honest with you. It's not academy football.
No, 100%.
It's ordinary grassroots football where just let them play, let them have a go. But then you get the low ability teams, and then you get the really high ones, and then everywhere in between. And the parents are just as committed as the coaches are, because that's who the coaches are, just parents really. They're having a go, perhaps do a bit of qualification, but just getting everybody included is really my ethos, which marries up with the Football Fun Factory. It doesn't for every coach, because some of them see it as, I want to have the best teams and the best players, and that's not really the way I do it. I give everybody the same amount of time on the pitch, everybody the same amount of opportunity, same development, same programmes that I deliver in grassroots, and I think that's what this programme does as well.
100%. It's so good to hear that. Finally, Jonathan, can you tell us about where your community is going to be and where your programmes are going to be running?
Yeah, so I'm opening mine predominantly in Chorley and South Ribble, which is Chorley Central itself, Leyland, Clayton Green and those places around that area for the South Ribble parts, and then also in Standish and Shevington. So I went to school in Shevington, and all of my elder 3 children all went to school at Standish High School. So for us, and one of my step children in the past went to Southlands High School, which is where I'm doing one of the programmes. So it's all very relevant, very local, and just very familial to me in the entire area. And you know, the people of those areas are just wonderful people who love buying into this kind of programme, and that's why I've probably had quite a lot of interest so far.
Absolutely brilliant. It's so good to hear when head coaches are launching programmes in the community that they feel so passionate about. So it's brilliant to hear, and we cannot wait to see your launch.